Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we are opening up a file that, honestly, it threw me for a loop the second I saw the title.
Oh, yeah.
It's a presentation called This Is Not Digital Marketing.
Yeah.
And, my first thought was, okay, if it's not marketing,
Yeah.
what are we even talking about?
It's the question that I think most businesses don't ask until it's way, way too late.
Right.
I mean, usually when you talk digital, everyone jumps to the shiny stuff.
Yeah.
The ads, the funnels, the click.
All the conversion rates, yeah.
Exactly. But this source material, it basically drags us down into the basement. We're going into the engine room.
The engine room, I like that. It sounds greasy.
It is. It's necessary. This isn't about getting customers to look at you. It's about making sure that when they do look, your whole digital house doesn't just, collapse.
So we're talking about digital operations.
We are.
Yeah.
Specifically, stability, clarity, and long-term resilience. It's all the invisible stuff that actually keeps a business alive.
And the opening slide, just to set the mood here, it's really striking. It's this glowing geometric shape floating in a really dark, foggy room. It feels, I don't know, precise, but also precarious.
And that is the perfect metaphor, isn't it? That structure is the order we think we have, the fog. Well, that's the real world, the chaos that's always there.
So if you're listening and you're what we call the learner, this is for you. This isn't about getting more likes. It's about understanding why things break and, more importantly, how to stop them from breaking in the first place.
Exactly. It's about preventing that disaster you just don't see coming.
So before we really get into the weeds, I want to ask you, the listener, to do something for me, just for a second. Think about your own digital workspace, the tools, the software.
The spreadsheets that run your life?
Yes, the spreadsheets. Do you actually know how they all work together, or are you just kind of hoping they don't break today?
That's the million-dollar question.
If you feel like you're constantly reacting to problems, I want you to drop a comment below. Just type the word reacting if that hits a little too close to home. I have a feeling you're not alone.
I think you're right.
Okay, let's jump in. First section. The source calls it the hidden problem.
Right. And this brings us straight to a concept called digital debt.
Digital debt. Sounds expensive. It's not something I can just pay off with my credit card, is it?
Oh, it's much worse. The source makes this really critical point. Digital systems almost never fail suddenly. They drift.
Drift. That's such a gentle word for what sounds like a catastrophe.
Well, that's the whole deception. The slide literally says decay happens in shadows.
In shadows. Okay, so it's not a big explosion.
Not at first. It's, outdated decisions piling up. It's when ownership of a system gets fuzzy.
Can you give me a real-world example? Like, what does that look like on a Tuesday?
Okay, picture this. It's Black Friday, maybe 3 years ago. Your website traffic is huge. Your lead dev sees the checkout page is lagging, so she pushes a quick workaround. Temporary fix.
The classic temporary fix. I know where this is going.
Right. She means to fix it properly next week. But then a new project comes up. The workaround works. Revenue is fine, so nobody touches it.
And 3 years later?
3 years later, that temporary fix is now a load-bearing part of your whole system, and the developer who wrote it, she left the company last year. That's drift.
Oh, that is painfully relatable. I'll just patch this for now. That becomes the foundation of the entire company.
Precisely. And the visual on the slide nails it. It's this big black pillar. Looks strong from the top, but the base is just cracked. It's crumbling.
So failure is cumulative. It's not an accident.
It's quiet. It's lurking.
Like termites. You don't know they're there until your foot goes through the floor.
And that takes us right to the next slide, which is called the anatomy of failure. It lays out 3 stages, and they're frighteningly familiar.
Okay, walk us through it. How do we get from everything's fine to the building is on fire?
Well, stage 1 is slow causes. This is the drift we just talked about. Years of tiny decisions, skipped software updates, processes that nobody ever wrote down.
It's the death by 1,000 cuts phase. But it feels safe, right?
Yeah.
Because nothing is actually broken yet.
That's the trap. And then you slam into stage 2. Fast failure.
The moment of panic.
The crisis just arrives. It feels like it came out of nowhere, but really the warning signs were there for years. The fast failure is just the bill for all those slow causes finally coming due.
Which leads right into stage 3, reactive recovery.
The scramble. Everyone is running around trying to figure out what went wrong, but because nothing was documented during the slow causes phase, you don't even know who to call. You're not fixing the problem. You're just trying to stop the bleeding.
There's a quote on this slide I really love. It says, "This slide exists to slow you down."
It's so powerful, right? In a world obsessed with moving fast, this is saying, no, stop, look at this. If you don't recognize this pattern, you are just doomed to repeat it.
So I want to ask everyone listening, look at your own workflow right now. Can you spot a slow cost, something you know is going to bite you later? Let us know in the comments. Be brave. I'll admit I have a desktop folder called To Sort from 2019.
That folder is definitely a slow cause.
Moving on, we hit something I think every business falls for. The source calls it the trap of trends.
Yes, the siren song of the rebuild.
It's just so tempting. When things get messy, your gut says, "Whip it all down and start over. Let's just migrate everything to this shiny new platform. It'll solve all our problems."
It feels like a solution. It's a dopamine hit, a fresh start. But the source is blunt. It says chasing trends fails businesses.
Why, though? If the old system is a mess, why isn't a new one the answer?
Because rebuilding has all these hidden costs. First, operational disruption. You're stopping actual work to learn a new tool.
Right, productivity just grinds to a halt while everyone tries to find the new save button.
Second is attention loss. Your focus shifts from your business strategy to just implementation. You become a mechanic instead of a driver.
And the third one?
New dependencies. Every new tool creates its own technical debt, its own vendor lock-in. You're not getting rid of debt, you're just refinancing it with a different bank.
Vendor lock-in. That is a scary phrase. You're marrying the software, and divorce is going to be expensive.
And the visual here is a construction site in the dark. It looks productive, but the real question is it effective? Rebuilds feel busy. They don't always mean progress.
So the big insight here is stability is rarely achieved by replacement. It comes from understanding what you already have. That's about stewardship, not just shopping for new tech.
Exactly.
Okay, but what about the tools themselves? The next slide is called the illusion of control, and it gets into a paradox that really caught my eye.
Why tools don't create clarity?
But wait a minute, isn't that why we buy tools? To get clarity. Why does the source say tools create opacity?
Because every tool you add is another layer of abstraction. It's what we call the black box problem.
A black box.
Think about it. You buy some tool that uses, say, AI to optimize your ad spend. You click a button and magic happens. But do you actually know how it's happening, what the algorithm is doing?
Not a clue. I just know I click the blue button and hope for the best.
And that's the danger.
Yeah.
Without clear ownership and understanding, your own systems become black boxes. You're relying on a vendor to understand your business. If that tool breaks, you're helpless.
There's a line here that gave me chills. Risk hides behind convenience.
It's convenient to not know how it works. It saves you time. Until it stops working, then that convenience becomes a catastrophe.
I have to ask you, listening, do you use tools where you have absolutely no idea what's happening under the hood? Does that scare you? It kind of scares me.
It's like driving a car where the hood is welded shut. You just have to hope the engine's still in there.
Yeah. Okay, but surely if we have dashboards and charts, we're safe. I mean, I love a good dashboard.
You'd think so. But the next slide is titled Metrics versus Reality. Or, as it says, why metrics alone don't protect you.
Please don't take my dashboards away from me.
We just have to see them for what they are. The source breaks it into 3 levels. Level 1 is activity. The dashboard shows you what's happening. Traffic is up.
Okay, good.
Level 2 is visibility. You can see the numbers. But level 3 is exposure. And risk usually remains unmeasured.
So just because I can see that the emails are being sent, that doesn't tell me if the backup server is actually running.
Precisely. The quote here is, not everything that's measurable is meaningful. Visibility is not the same as protection.
That's a great point. Just because a light is blinking doesn't mean the system is healthy.
It just means the light bulb is working.
Okay, so we've talked about the hidden problems, the traps, the illusions. Let's get to the damage. This next slide is called the cost of drift.
This is where the bill for all that neglect comes due.
The image here is incredible. It's this huge, rusted piece of machinery. There are vines growing through the gears. It looks like it was once a powerhouse, but now nature's just taking it back.
That is the perfect picture of drift. The text explains how all those small, unattended decisions silently reshape your systems over time.
And the key phrase is, no single change feels significant.
Right. One little workaround is fine. But after 5 years, all those little changes have compounded into a system that nobody recognizes or understands anymore.
And then you get the expensive surprise.
Drift is completely invisible until the one moment you desperately need the system to work. And you discover it hasn't actually worked for months.
That is the ultimate nightmare scenario. You go to restore a backup after a crash and realize the script failed 6 months ago and no one noticed.
Because no one owned it.
Exactly. I want to pause here and ask the listeners again. I know you have a story. Tell us about a time you discovered a workaround that had become a permanent, terrifying part of your company. That one Excel sheet the entire finance department runs on. We want to hear it in the comments.
We all have one of those stories.
Before we move on to the solution, and I promise there is a solution, I need to interrupt for a second. We're covering a lot of ground here on digital stability. But if you really want to stay ahead of this stuff,
You can't just rely on one deep dive.
no way. You need to go subscribe to the YouTube NCWEBEV channel. Seriously.
Yep.
We can only cover so much here. The NCWEBE channel is where you go to make sure you don't miss all the new stuff coming out. It's the best way to keep your head above that fog we were talking about.
Absolutely. Go hit that subscribe button. It's a small click for you, but a giant leap for your digital stability.
Okay, we're back. We scared everyone enough. Let's talk about how to actually fix this mess. Slide 8. Creating stability.
This is the turning point. The source lays out what actually creates stability, and it lists 3 pillars. And guess what? None of them are buy a new tool.
Thank goodness. Okay, what's pillar number 1?
Ownership. Simple as that. Clear accountability. If a system breaks, whose phone rings? If the answer is I don't know, you have a huge problem.
It seems so basic, but it's so often overlooked. Pillar 2.
Risk reduction. This is about being proactive. It means looking for the cracks in the pillar before it falls. It means rewarding the people who fix things that aren't broken yet.
That's a huge cultural shift. We always praise the firefighters. We never praise the person who installed the fire sprinklers.
That's it, exactly. And pillar 3 is long-term thinking. Making decisions for sustainable operations, not just short-term fixes. Stop putting Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
There's a note here that I find really interesting. It says stability should be felt, not described.
Isn't that great? You shouldn't need a meeting to tell everyone things are stable. They
Yeah.
should just feel it. There's a calmness to it. Things just work.
And that leads us to the next slide. A different approach. This one feels like a breath of fresh air after all that rust and fog.
Proactive clarity.
The visual is a clean, organized desk. Everything is in its place. It's the complete opposite of that rusted machine we just saw.
And this is the goal. The source gives us a few practical steps. First, map your dependencies. Know what connects to what.
Second, document your decisions.
This is huge. The phrase it uses is documentation that survives people.
That sounds a little morbid.
It's just practical. Every company has that one person, let's call him Dave, who knows everything.
Oh, I know Dave. Dave knows why the server spits out that weird error every Thursday.
Right. And the whole business leans on Dave. But what happens if Dave wins the lottery and quits tomorrow?
The whole system collapses.
Because the knowledge wasn't in a system, it was in Dave's head. You have to build a system of record that externalizes that knowledge. The stability can't be held hostage by one person's memory.
You have to make the business Dave-proof.
You have to make it Dave-proof. And the goal listed here is simple. Less urgency, fewer surprises.
Who doesn't want less urgency in their life? I'd pay good money for that.
I think we all would. And that brings us to the final slide. Build before the crisis.
The visual here is so strong. It's all industrial steel beams, concrete structures. It looks unbreakable.
The message is to start treating your digital presence like a core asset, not a liability you have to deal with.
And here's the definition of what a thriving business looks like, according to this source.
It says, the businesses that thrive aren't reacting faster. They're building systems that require less reaction.
That just flips the whole move fast and break things idea on its head.
Speed is fine, but stability is better. The best companies aren't just great at putting out fires, they're great at preventing them from starting in the first place.
And the final line really ties it all together. Clarity doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of deliberate choices made consistently over time.
Consistently. That's the key. It's not one big, heroic rebuild. It's the boring daily work of documenting, owning, and maintaining. That's what makes all the exciting stuff possible.
So let's just recap this whole journey. We started with the invisible drift of digital debt. We saw the trap of just chasing new trends. We realized that our tools can sometimes hide risk. And we ended with a solution: real ownership, solid documentation, and building a foundation so strong you don't have to live in crisis mode.
From chaos to clarity.
So I want to leave you with one final thought, something to really chew on.
If you connect all this back to your own business, ask yourself this question. If your lead developer, your Dave, walked in and quit today, how much of your business stability would walk out that door with them?
Oof, that is a heavy question. That puts a pit in my stomach just thinking about it.
It should. But if the answer is a lot or most of it, then you're living in the drift. And you need to start building that system of record right now.
I want you to answer that honestly in the comments. If my lead left today, I would be fill in the blank. And hey, if you know someone who needs a stability check, share this deep dive with them. It might just save their weekend.
Stability is felt, not described. Go build some.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next deep dive.